Dear Lauren, I have been told for 2 years now how unhappy my affair partner is in his marriage and how much he desires to leave. I understand how hard all of it is for him, but I have put a lot of pressure on him because I'm at the point where I'm questioning, what am I waiting for? As he describes, his marriage is like their roommates. She has cheated on him with his brother-in-law, and during the time of discovery from that, his dad committed suicide. I know he's hurting and promises me he wants to go to therapy. He wants me to be with him, to give him the courage to go. But I'm stuck on what to do for myself. I've seen all the red flags in this relationship. He's lied to me multiple times. He's posted pictures of them together all over social media and hid the post from me for a year. He messaged a good friend of mine referencing sexual things, and she told me about it, having no idea that he and I are together. He had a different girl hanging out with him at a work event, which shortly after I found out, he had her phone number in his phone and was messaging with her under a man's contact info. I've been trying to end things with him, and the time that I really followed through with ending things, I received a message that I was added to a life insurance policy as a beneficiary. This scared me into thinking he was going to do something to himself, so I reached out to ask what it was about. Later, I find out after doing research of my own, I was never added onto a life insurance policy. He tried telling me he removed me when he changed insurance. He is truly damaging my mental health and making me scared to leave, but I also know I can't stay like this. Do I stay and help him start therapy? Or do I walk away and hope he gets the help he needs because I can't hold his hand through this any longer? Sincerely, scared and stuck. Scared and stuck. You can't get out of this relationship fast enough. You're with someone who is most likely a philanderer. And I'm just going to be completely blunt. He obviously is someone who is not honest in his life. He's not capable of being in congruency and in alignment. This is someone who has secrets, who lies, who is inappropriate with other people, who has lied to you, who has obviously carried on other indiscretions other than his affair with you. So, frankly, I don't really care if he says that he wants to be with you and that being with you gives him the courage to do what he needs to do. That in and of itself is another red flag. You know, I have all the empathy in the world for the fact that sometimes affairs and meeting someone else does give somebody in a bad relationship or who hasn't been treated right in their marriage or, you know, who just needs a little time to do the right thing, the courage to know that there is something better waiting for them on the other side. Yes, sometimes that does happen. This is not one of those cases, I don't think. I think this is someone who is using that as an excuse. He's using you as a crutch. If he wants to go to therapy, he would realize that he is in enough pain to benefit from therapy. If he wants to leave his spouse, I would want him to be doing things towards that goal and not relying on you staying in a toxic situation so that he can have the strength that's required of him to do something different, because he hasn't done anything different. And it sounds like he's had a lot of time to do a lot of other things. And that's the thing. Oftentimes, our married partner is certainly finding the space to have other extracurricular activities. In this case, yours certainly is. So I would encourage you to see through all the excuses. And you know what? Let him prove you wrong then. Let him prove you wrong that these aren't excuses and that he really is going to do the right thing. But don't be there to witness it. You don't need to be there for the journey. Not this one. Not this one. So this person sounds like an extremely toxic, manipulative lover. So I would encourage you to get really deep in your work on yourself, in recovery work. Where am I outsourcing my worth? Where do I feel like it's okay for people to mistreat me, to lie to me, to drag me into their chaos? And I'm still going to be here for it. I'm still sticking around for it. I'm still bearing witness because we are our own best salesperson. We will come up with all the reasons in the book why this person needs us, why we can't block them, why we can't go silent and take care of ourselves. They need us. They're not going to be okay without us. But really, it's our own discomfort at being the person who takes care of ourselves when we're afraid about what that's going to mean for another person. It's called codependency. So pick up the book Codependent No More. I recommend it all the time on Letters to Lauren. But, honestly, for anyone who's in a toxic situation and is struggling to find their sense of empowerment, that book is for you and that work is for you. We always have choice. We always have self-agency in our lives. And we are usually more empowered than we think we are. And in this case, you most certainly are. You're not married to this person. You are just entangled with them. Otherwise, your obligation to him is all up here. And it's all based on the guilt that he lays on you when you try to go take care of yourself. He's going to have all the tactics in the book. Don't be surprised when no matter what you do, he comes up with something different as a way to stick his foot in the door with you. That's exactly how these things work. So go educate yourself on toxic lovers, on toxic relationships, and on what the psychology of someone who stays and who is subjected to that kind of relationship, what that is. Because that's your work to do that's going to help you become someone who would really, really be able to show up for themselves differently in this circumstance. And I can hear it in your voice. You're doing the work. You're like almost there. You're trying. And it's like he's just reaching back out and he's pulling you back in. Be stronger than he is. Be stronger than those stories that you're telling yourself that something's going to happen to him. Someone like this is usually very, very resourceful, as is exemplified by the fact that he made many other connections and has other relationships during his relationship with you. Most of the time, someone like this who's a toxic lover, they have other people that they're going to leech and latch onto when they start to get desperate and despairing. So your obligation right now is to yourself. And I implore you to choose yourself. Because if he's going to learn any lessons of his own, they're not going to come with you in the picture. They're only going to come once he can hit rock bottom in his own life. And your presence is preventing him from hitting that rock bottom. And instead, you're going down with him. You're going down with him. And I've seen many situations like this where someone will take you down on their ship. And it's always up to us to save ourselves. And it's a hard lesson, but it's one that's going to keep coming up in your life if you don't resolve to learn it. Which is, if I don't look out for myself, who's going to? If I don't have standards for love and relationships, then I'm just showing other people what I'll live with, what I'll tolerate. If I'm okay being with someone who lies to me, who manipulates, who isn't strong enough in their integrity to forge ahead and do the right thing, then that's all I need to know. Again, he can always prove you wrong. That's great, but that's his journey to go on, not yours. So I implore you to get very clear with yourself on what the last pieces are here for you that you're going to need to stay strong. Maybe you need to rely on a friend. Maybe you need to ask for help. You don't have to do it alone. Sometimes the people who love and care about us can be a great resource to keep us accountable when there's someone toxic in our life who's really pulling us back into their chaos. I hope this helps.